This is how to read Jin Ping Mei Chapter 43 in the embroidery version. He fights for favors with the golden lotus to make him angry, and sells wealth to woo you to get married. In the story version, Simon King scolds the golden lotus for losing the gold, and the moon girl meets Mrs. Kiao because of the marriage. 1. A piece of gold creates a commotion. This day is finally the 15th day of the first lunar month, and the officials in Ximen are very busy. Very busy. I have to go to the Yemen to have a New Year tea party. I have to go to a Taoist temple to have a lantern festival ritual, and I'm invited to drink at Zhou Xiaobai's house. Even so, Earl Ying still led Li San and Huang Xilai to pay back the interest for gold bracelets. Which of these things is the most important? You must go to the Yemen, and you must go to the Taoist temple. Although it is just a formality, you have to go to the Yemen in person, and the Taoist temple can find a substitute. Chen Jingji. Collecting interest is the current return on past investments and must be collected. The banquet for defenders is the future return on current investments and must be collected. So, I went to the Yemen first, came back and collected the gold bracelet at home, and then went to the guard's house for the banquet. It may seem like a trivial matter, but just in the small part of collecting the gold bracelet, because one of the 4 ingots disappeared, a big storm was caused. We still remember that the second time after Simon King gave birth to a son and became an official, a lot of troubles were caused by the piano boy hiding the pot. Now it is the second time after the official brother sent his name to get married, and there was another dispute over the loss of a gold bracelet, because some people are favored and some are jealous. Once something happens, some people will fan the flames, and some people will use the opportunity to talk things out, lest the world is not in chaos. Jin Ping Mei is good at finding a small nerve in such small things, and then stirring up everyone's emotions. Big nerve. Now let's take a look at the detailed process of this storm. First, Simon King received 4 ingots of gold bracelets and was very happy. Just like when Brother Guan was born and he was promoted to an official position, he attributed this fortune to Brother Guan's marriage, so he sent gold to Li Pingera's room. Theoretically, he should take the gold back to Wu Yunyang's upper room, but he took it to the garden to show off. When you enter the garden, you will pass Pan Jinlian's room. Although she bumped into it, you didn't show it to her. Well, of course we know that Pan Jinlian will be very angry and Wu Yunyang will be unhappy too. The gold was sent to Li Pingera's room to play, and everyone happened to come to see Brother Guan, because on the 15th day of the first lunar month, Ximen's family invited all the ladies of the court to celebrate the Lantern Festival and celebrate Li Pingera's birthday. I looked at the gold and saw that a piece of gold was missing, because Ryer is guarding Brother Guan. The question starts from Ryer. Ryer found that she was missing. She asked Lao Feng. Lao Feng swore that he had not seen it. Li Pinger asked Yingchun. Yingchun also denied it. Li Pinger asked Simon King. Simon King also said he didn't know. He was sure that the gold was lost, was picked up by someone, judging from the results. The loss of the gold had nothing to do with Li Pingera's room. However, such push and pull and question by case responses soon spread the anxiety of the lost gold, slowly bringing the story to a climax. When Pan Jinlian received the news about the gold loss, she became excited from the bottom of her heart. She immediately ran to Wu Yunyang's room to complain. Finally, there was a good thing for them to get together and vent. What Pan Jinlian meant was that no matter how rich the Ximen family was, they could not let their children play with gold. They should have given it to Wu Yunyang's room before after losing it. They sent the remaining 3 ingots there, but who knew that Simon King wanted to give it to him instead? How about showing off in Li Pingera's room? Now that the gold is lost in Li Pingera's room, what's the point of looking for Wu Yunyang again? Is it right? That's right. Pan Jinlian not only saw the facts clearly, but also hit the nail on the head. However, just like the problem in Chapter 41 when Brother Guan was born in the room, Simon King is also a co-conspirator. He said that Simon King was wrong when he said that children should not play with gold. He also said that Simon King was wrong when he said that he should not give it to Wu Yunyang. In the room, is it wrong to come to Wu Yunyang to deal with the problem now or Simon King? How can Simon King endure such a series of attacks? What he said made Simon King anxious. He walked forward and pressed the golden lotus on the Yunyang King. He raised his fists and cursed. Just kill me. If you don't care about the world, I will kill you, a little crooked boy. I'll beat him to death with one punch. He's a sharp-tongued guy, so he'll get involved no matter what you do. What's good to see in the world? Simon King also knows that he is wrong, but the leader will not let you say anything if he is wrong. It's just that Simon King was far inferior to Pan Jinlian in terms of verbal disputes. He was so angry that he had to fight with fists and kicks. What should Pan Jinlian do? You said what you said. But if people don't argue with you now, their fists will come out. As witty as Pan Jinlian, in desperation she had no choice but to cry with her fists. I know that you rely on official power and wealth first, and you are overbearing. The only one you bully is me. You said that you are so powerful that you killed half a person. And you don't care. Who stopped me? Is it okay to hold on to your hand? You can't fight me. I can fight as long as you want. If it doesn't work, I won't worry about my sick mother asking for someone else. I have money and power, so I'll give you a letter. Why do you think you are just a poor official in the government? How many people can you kill? It's okay to kill someone. You just use your power to bully others. And if you want to fight, you can beat them if you are beaten to death. My family wants someone from you. Do you think you are rich and powerful? Think you are great? Think you are an emperor? And you can kill people if you want? On the surface, it is scolding and crying, but after reading it, we will laugh at it. What a clever piece of flattery. It seems that the tone is bad and the attitude is bad, but he praises every word, rich, powerful, and powerful. To be fair, Pan Jinlian's haste in a moment is truly amazing. In fact, in Pan Jinlian's eyes, a truly good man does not need money or power at all. She can use jewelry to pawn off Wuhan University to buy a house, or she can fall in love with a penniless prodigal like Wu Song. This is her natural place. This is also the place where she is fundamentally different from Wu Yunyang, Li Ping'er, and Meng Yulu. However, people have to bow their heads under the eaves. Pan Jinlian, who has pure aesthetics and values, has to follow secular rules and even rely on such flattery. Save yourself. Later, Simon King finally smiled back, turned his anger into joy, and let it go. So, what is Wu Yunyang, who just shared the same hatred, doing? We have analyzed Wu Yunyang's role in the 3.0 version of the competition for many times. Compared with the one competition and happy life of the Garden Beauty Gang, she is much harder. She has to maintain the image of her wife and aunt, and at the same time, she has to fight with others. Simon Qingshu and Wei Snake, whom she didn't love at all, had to try their best to balance the rise and fall of other forces competing for favor, adding fuel to the fire behind their decline. To become the final winner, there is really endless patience and hardship along the way. Facing Simon King's angry fist, Wu Yunyang did nothing. She just watched the fire from the other side and waited for its changes. I guess her bottom line is that if Simon King really hits Pan Jinlian, she will fight him for a while and then start a fight. She will neither completely stop Simon King nor help Pan Jinlian against her will. However, Pan Jinlian took care of her own troubles, so she had no choice but to praise Pan Jinlian's eloquence in front of Simon King. This was of course a stepping stone for Simon King to turn his anger into happiness, but as soon as Simon King left for a banquet at Zhou Shu's house, she immediately changed her attitude. Who told you to provoke him? I'm worried about you. If I hadn't been there to persuade him and tie up the ghost, he would have been beaten a few times. The man has dog hair on his face. He doesn't know what's good for him, so he just cares about it. You are entangled with him. If the gold is missing, just let him go. If you are not looking for it, and it is not in your house, why bother trying to force him with it? You are so embarrassed. Who says Wu Yunyang is not good at eloquence? She was probably holding back such a long chapter just now. This passage has two meanings. First, I was there to persuade him, so he didn't hit you. Second, Li Ping'er lost gold in his room. What does it have to do with you? Li Ping'er is your favorite, so don't fight. Of course, we know that this advice is pure lies, but we see through her jealousy of Pan Jinlian's intelligence, and we must also understand her subtext. Because I am here. Simon King did not hit you because I was here to give me face. Regarding the second point, this is the fact that Pan Jinlian is least willing to accept. It's not that she doesn't know it. The problem is that she simply can't stand it. Wu Yunyang's exposure of this fact was just waiting for her to make trouble with the matter of losing gold again. She was curious about where the gold went and also wanted to see how things would end. Pan Jinlian was speechless and walked away angrily. Then Li Ping'er came to Wu Yunyang's room. Wu Yunyang immediately asked what happened to the gold. This was supposed to be gold sent to her room, and she blamed Li Ping'er. His father and sixth sister couldn't argue with each other here. They almost got angry and started fighting. I persuaded them to leave. Which door is your house girl and wife in charge of? Look, he was playing with a child, but his ingot of gold disappeared. What if it was only half a penny? Again, I'll persuade you to eat. Wu Yunyang wants to tell Li Ping'er that the gold was lost in your room, even if it was not taken by anyone in your room. You have failed in management. And Simon King and Pan Jinlian quarreled over this matter. I am right to you if you are meritorious. I will help you persuade. Otherwise their accidents will all be caused by you. Obviously, Wu Yunyang was pretending to take credit on the one hand, and on the other hand, she was helping from both sides. And then she was like a normal person, waiting for things to explode. 2. Baby and Old Lady. The story of lost gold has just begun, but the author just cuts off the clues, as if nothing happened, and waits for the next chapter to break it down. This not only whets the reader's appetite, but is also more in line with the reality of life. Generally, anything lost is never found immediately. Otherwise, how could it be found? Can it become a story? What's more, this day is the 15th day of the first lunar month, and a group of female relatives and prostitutes are drinking and having fun at Simon's house. We can't let such things ruin the scenery. The next story happened in Wu Yu's mother's room. The women took turns joking with their children. However, what was unimaginable was that the subject of the joking turned out to be the word whoring. The reason for the prostitution was that Sister Li Gui saw that Brother Guan was cute and had a motherly love, so she wanted to hug him. Unexpectedly, the baby agreed. I just jumped into my arms and taught him how to hold it. Brother Guan's baby, who was only half a year old, took the initiative to ask Sister Li Gui to hold him. It originally could not explain anything. No matter how clever and cunning the author was, he would not be allowed to bear any metaphor. However, it was the misinterpretation of this hug by the women that it came to unbelievable. First, Wu Dejinzi joked that he also knows his hobby. That is, he likes prostitution. Without thinking, Wu Yunyang continued, "Who is he? When he grows up tomorrow, he will be a prostitute." This is already a little wrong. After all, it is suspected of insulting Simon King and hurting the prostitutes present. Then Meng Yulu answered, "If you become a prostitute, you will be beaten to death if you call the eldest mother." This sentence seems simple, but it has rich connotations and profound charm. On the one hand, it is dissatisfaction with the prostitutes. At that time, Simon King is addicted to Li Chunyuan, Pan Jinlian is jealous of her, and Meng Yulu naturally feels the same way. On the other hand, he not only flatters Wu Yunyang, but also irritates Li Ping'er. Only the end is qualified to teach a child if it is wrong to go to a prostitute. The words big mother are enough to make Li Ping'er, who is favored after giving birth to a child, startle, and feel deeply uneasy. Li Ping'er immediately counterattacked in self-defense. "Little boy, your sister hugged you. I only took off your sister's clothes and I beat her to death. There is nothing wrong with this sister. Isn't she Wu Yunyang's goddaughter? I'll beat you to death," is saying, "Don't wait until you grow up to go whore and be beaten to death by Big Mom. Even if you dare to pee now, I will beat you to death, because I am your biological mother." Of course, this also means to compensate and comfort the prostitutes, quite like Liu Bei beating a Jew. In the end, the scene ended with the prostitutes playing and singing, with the sound of falling dust swirling round the beams, and the sound of cracking rocks and flowing clouds. This was the real time to visit the prostitute. But the baby was so frightened that he didn't dare to come out, and immediately took him back to the room. Brother Guan's timidity is written out again and again in small parts of the text, paving the way for the cat to scare him to death in the end. The climax of this episode is the visit of Mrs. Kiao. This old lady was a royal relative of the Kiao family. Although she had been a widow for many years, she still cheered forward and followed her every step of the way, with extraordinary momentum. This is how the text describes the old lady. Mrs. Kiao Wu came in surrounded by guests. She was short in stature, about 70 years old, wearing a crown of emerald pearls and a red palace embroidered robe. When viewed from close-up, her hair on the temples was white. Swarming round, pearl crown and palace embroidery describe the palace background. It's a long story for me, but the current concubine of the East Palace is my niece. His parents are gone, only me. When the old man was alive, he used to be a hereditary commander. Unfortunately, he died at the age of 50. There was no one around him. The children and grandchildren were replaced by other nephews. They had no money, but now they have become a wealthy family. Although my nephew is a servant, he has a good life, and he does not taint the family. His biological niece is the imperial concubine, and he is the wife of a hereditary commander. Compared with the Ximen family, the Qiao family does have something that the rising wealthy people dream of but cannot ask for: expensive. Ximen King, who felt sorry for Qiao's family background, was finally satisfied this time. The text description of Mrs. Qiao Wu is just that. Stop there. It's just that this time, it's really interesting to talk about the old lady and the baby together. Mrs. Qiao Wu is probably the supreme authority in the Qiao family, which easily reminds us of Jia Mu in A Dream of Red Mansions. Jia's mother has a high position and is unattainable, while the official brother of the Ximen family is the apple of his eye and the most important. Comparing A Dream of Red Mansions and Jin Ping Mei from this perspective, it may be said that A Dream of Red Mansions is an upward pyramid. Jia Mu is the top of this pyramid, and Jin Ping Mei is a centripetal vortex, and Brother Guan is the center of the vortex. The pyramid in A Dream of Red Mansions towers into the sky, making people look up and fearful. The whirlpool in the plum and the golden vase is unfathomable, making people frightened. Both A Dream of Red Mansions and Jin Ping Mei, through thorough thinking and exploration, show us the deep and complex social relationships and human nature puzzles behind the superficial ethics of life. And these are far closer to our lives than other stories.
Alright, this part of the story ends here.
Want to know what happened next? Let's listen to the breakdown next time.